I was talking with Eric Bickle this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked about Jayden, and I was like, I don't know. Dan Quinn's, I thought DQ yesterday, his tone so Dan Quinn addressed the media yesterday, as he does every Monday or every day after the game.
Mm-hmm.
So with Jayden, he said balancing he needs work. He's a football player with being at risk. And he said, that's the balance and kind of the one thing you don't want to have happen, like land directly on the elbow. And so you can help on protections, some things on running and sliding and play like that. You don't get to do that. You're trying to find the balance of what do those reps look like? How are the lessons being applied? And then making sure you're doing it, calling it as competitively to go win it, but also with protecting the team in mind. So it's both.
Mm-hmm.
He said specifically of Jayden having to come out of that game about the elbow, it's sore and the doctors evaluated him today. The good news, there's no long-term concerns, but we'll continue to monitor and kind of take everything into account as the week goes.
Yeah.
I don't have an update for you yet regarding playing. It's sore today, but the good news is no long-term. I don't have an update as far as the game yet. That's fairly consistent with how DQ has done this.
Yeah.
On Monday, he tells you there's an update Wednesday. On Wednesday, he tells you there's an update Friday.
Yeah, and then he figures out.
The current media schedule has Jayden addressing the media on Wednesday. That, one, is hardly a lock. Two, doesn't mean it could mean nothing. So I say all that to preface Adam Schefter, and I said this to Bickle this morning. When Schefter says something that's his opinion, I often think it's framed by more than his opinion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And Schefter was on Pat McAfee and was asked about the Jayden Daniels situation.
Yeah, Jayden Daniels, he got banged up again yesterday in his return, and now they said it held him out being precautionary. What's the deal with him? Are they going to shut him down going forward now that they're 3-10 and out of it?
I would have thought they would have shut him down now, but I think there are people that wanted him to play, wanted him to be out there. He felt healthy. He hurt the same elbow, goes down. To me, it's an easy decision. Jayden, we appreciate you wanting to play. We understand how much you want to play. We're going to sit you down here. We're out of the playoffs. Let's start gearing up for a great season in 26. But right now, this whole season has gotten away from the Commanders. They lose Zach Ertz to a season-ending torn ACL. Jayden hurts his elbow again. Like, what are we doing? Why are we putting him out there? I know football players play. I got it. To me, a guy that's taken so much hits and had some injury issues, that friend, I'm not letting him play. That's me, but it's not my team.
Okay.
What do you think of Schefter saying to shut him down?
I normally think like you about him, but I think that's truly his opinion right there. Because normally when he speaks and he's been told something, it's a little bit more direct than that. But my thing is, he fell on the elbow. And I'm sure the elbow was still a little sore, even if they say he's healthy. You still have some soreness, stiffness, whatever. You fell on it. You didn't, the bone didn't move again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It didn't come out of socket again. You fell on it. And when I watched after the game, I've been around this football thing a long time. When there's something that they're concerned about, they got you wrapped up, they got you some ice, they got something on it. He had nothing on his own.
Yeah.
That bandage that was there, that was it.
They said he could go back in.
Yeah. And so I just don't see it being a shutdown already. Maybe they go sit down and talk, and the powers that be say, hey, look, we've seen enough. Then you go with that. But people keep like the football player they do. That sport is totally different than basketball. It's totally different than baseball. Football and hockey are the closest things to each other. Those guys perform even when injured. Some people can't. Basketball, they have certain little things. They're out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Baseball, they disappear with hangnails. Hockey, they might put their finger back in place and keep playing. Tooth come out their mouth, they pull the rest of it out and keep playing. Football, we've seen guys play with broken legs. And what was it, Youngblood? We saw a dude get a finger cut off in damn Ronnie Lott. Athletes do mysterious things. And I know a lot of people, you have your opinions. You don't think like an athlete at this level. You're not even close to thinking how they think. And the people that work with them, they understand that mindset. And they have to fight what they hear, what they understand, and what they're hearing outside of it. Because they know they still got to deal with the PR aspect of it too.
I'll open these phone lines up real quick. 800-636-1067. Sam Cosby's going to join us at noon. But Adam Schefter, that's not a hot take guy. That's not somebody that doesn't speak with folks around the league. Adam Schefter's saying they should shut Jayden down. I don't necessarily agree with it, but after the way the Minnesota game went, he did not look to be the accurate passer in that game that we all know. He made some plays because he has otherworldly talent, but they didn't call any design quarterback runs. I imagine that was something they decided as a team, that we're not going to call any design runs here.
I said, in that, prior to him getting hit, he'll run a little bit. He was getting down.
Right.
He was protecting himself.
There was a third down where he could have laid out to try to get the fourth down, and he went out of bounds. And I was honestly proud of him for that. That was growth to me. Schefter's saying shut him down. What do you say? Let's start with my man, Elijah. Eli, what do you say about Schefter saying shut Jayden down?
The BMitch hit the nail on the head. You know, everyone's going to take their own perspective. You have to understand who's to say if you shut him down when we start the season next year, this doesn't continue. So what is the end game here? They're trying to evaluate the roster with the quarterbacks that they drafted, obviously with the pieces that they got. Obviously not having Becker does change that. That is a safeguard, a safe valve for him that you no longer have. But you have to be able to rely on some other things for him right now, because that's the responsibility of an NFL quarterback. You're not going to have some perfect go at this thing. You're going to have to be able to keep going. And we're going to be relying on you guys to be able to let us know what's going on in the off season, when the OTAs are happening, when training camp happens, what's going on at that point, So what are we actually talking about, So it's going to take some time, but he's going to have to play, because these are things that have to get corrected now. Because if we're building for long-term future, you can't draft somebody to be able to – I don't care who you draft. The quarterback's going to have to make the decisions correctly, point-blank period. You have to put him out there to be able to do that. Thank you. I'm in the middle of my workout, so appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Eli. Appreciate you, man.
Glad he told me where he was. I was thinking like, damn, he went to the bathroom to call us? And that goal was
We've had people do that.
Jeff.